welcome to the driving show, episode 25, on my way to the gym. Do I want to go to the gym today? No, I didn't. I want to stay home and take a nap. But that is why we're doing this, so I could come on and let you know that some days you got to do stuff you don't want to do, and really half the battle, as I've said before, is just getting yourself there. So if you can kick yourself to show up, then you will see much better results than if you were to stay home and nap and not, get anything done. Because what's weird is yesterday was Thursday, where I helped babysit my niece and nephew for a couple hours, and so I didn't have the time to go to the gym. I don't know, I just had a lot going where I already wasn't able to get a lot done, so I decided not to go so that I could get something done. And I was just so tired, and I was like, well, when I go to the gym, I come back, I'm not tired. So that's like, it feels so backwards to be like, I'm gonna go and get myself super tired, and then I won't be tired. By the time I come home, I'll be more refreshed with energy. So I think that's always a good thing to know if you are hesitant to wanting to go and work out or do something active. And that is something, I think I mentioned it here, if not on my main social media. I've talked about, you can't follow your feelings. Yeah, I think I did mention it a couple episodes ago, that you can't trust those feelings, because most days I don't want to go to the gym. And, if I followed that, I would not be where I am today, especially with the business. But I do have exciting updates. So last time when I left it off, I told you I was getting something together for my punk post friends. So those at my old company that I helped, I didn't help start. I joined it and was there for 5 years, but I worked real closely under the co-founders and helped build up the customer service and community management in particular. So came in, I think it was a year or two old, maybe a year and a half when I joined. So about 20 artists, and then when I was leaving it, we had I think almost 150 artists. So, it's a lot. But sadly, they're coming to a close, and I had seen that a lot of people were wanting to start their own small businesses. So that's what I've been saying, is I put together kind of a free resource for just them, in particular current, former handwriting artists, of hey, here's what I've learned in my years in business. If you don't know where to start with having your own business and getting that up and going, as well as, you guys, a lot of it is just helpful to know even if you have a business. So I created that. It's a presentation I made in Canva, used Loom to put my little face in the corner so they could potentially be seeing me talk through the presentation. And it really does make a big difference, because I used to just do screen recordings and then I could do a voiceover, and it makes a huge difference when I've seen some of my old stuff of just a talking voice compared to talking voice in a little circle. So I put that together, as well as just some helpful links within the presentation, and I launched that yesterday. So that was part of yesterday being a bit crazy too, because it came together so fast with here's the idea, time is of the essence, let's put it together. It's together. Now I need to have a web page to send them to, an email sign up that works and will trigger a automation. So I need to set an automation up, get everything linked correctly in the right spots. And then once you do that, you still have to, it's just like any other product or digital service you launch, you still then have to promote it. So what I ended up doing was creating a talking social media video, so a minute and a half, because it is a reel, and just kind of explaining, I worked at the company for this long, and I'd love to be able to help you guys out, and it's just for, specifically punk post friends. There's highway patrol behind me. Okay, they're going around me, and they were pulled over because there was work being done, and I'm I know they're not behind me for any reason than they're just trying to get back on the freeway, but go away, speed around me. Good, they are. Anyways, I made that and then sent the link to a few of my punk post friends that I followed on social media that still know me. And because the tricky part was, I wanted to make sure it was just for them, and I didn't want to say, here's the link to just everyone, And so I think it actually worked well though, because I sent it to a couple different people who said they would share it. And overall, so far, because it's only been a day about, we have like 5 new subscribers on the email list that I have. And then it shows like 7 people that are going through the automation. So some of the existing people who I knew from Punk Post were on my email list. So that's why they're not considered new subscribers. So that is exciting. I'm hoping more will jump into it. And I think it's kind of like this whole idea, a few people will take it, and then whatever their experience is, they will let the other people in the community know, was it worth giving an email and getting these resources? I would think that it is, and so that's my hope, is that the people that do take it find it to be very helpful, and then they'll spread the word, because word of mouth is amazing if you did not know. So we're going to kind of have to wait and see how that goes, but it's always scary, putting that all together anytime you launch something. And I've talked about this before, like making sure everything's ready, and then is everything set up correctly? Will the emails trigger when they should? But then here's the unexpected thing that I wasn't counting on, was that the new people signing up for the products, they're doing lots of road work. It just got like super dusty, sandy, dirty. Ugh, gross. But the new people signing up, it triggered the Welcome Series 2, which makes sense because that one is supposed to trigger anytime there's a new subscriber. But I was like, no, now they're going to get 2 emails all at once. Luckily, my Welcome Series is just like 2 emails if they answer the question of if they're aspiring or current. So that's good because it shouldn't be too overwhelming, but I was just frustrated because I was like, I don't want to spam them. And it's not spamming them because it will be helpful. It's helpful for them to know, especially if they do want to stay on the email list and within the business. But I was like, I don't know how to tell it not to do that. And then, I was just stuck. So I'm just leaving it as it is. And I'm like, well, I'll need to ask my mentor or research or figure out before the next, this sort of thing I do, to figure out like, what do I do and what is appropriate to do? Like maybe that's not a big deal. Because I know I can't think of anything recently, but in the past I know I say buy something and then you get an email saying here's your purchase, and then you also will usually get some sort of, by the way, here's our business. So same idea, but I don't know, I was just a little bit shocked by that, and like I wasn't expecting that. So even when you have tested everything out as I did, you still have things that just pop up. So who knows. But as I get towards the end of almost, end of the drive of this episode, almost to the gym, I did want to talk about the newsletter I sent out today, and I'll have that linked. And it was about, let's see if I can remember. When something isn't working, you need to change it. And kind of when you're looking at humans in general, and you can think through this yourself as well, when something isn't working in your life, typically we give up on something, we do nothing, or we change things. So those are kind of 3 broad routes that a lot of people go. So you started something new, and then it's harder than I thought, you give up. Or something isn't working, you do nothing, and you just stay as you are, or you change things. And I, looking back at my own life, I've seen instances of all these, and probably you can too, when you gave up. And I would say giving up is really sad because you don't know what could have been. You're potentially missing out on an opportunity that could have gotten better, and I'll share an example, if you had done something. But then at the same time, I think doing nothing is also very damaging and dangerous. I guess the main thing is because usually you need to take action, and you're doing nothing about it, thinking something's going to change when it's not. And so that's not how the world works, buddy. So be careful if you do that. But also it could be that you're just so stagnant and almost delusional to the dysfunction in your life that you've just given up, but you're not even giving up. So it's worse than giving up, because at least if you were to give it up, you can try something else. You can get on a new path. But staying as you are when something isn't working, that's just not good overall. Long term, short term, anything. So in the newsletter, I talk about how really the only thing that I've learned in life as I've gotten older and have experienced more is that you really do need to make changes. That's like what you need to do if you kind of want to move yourself forward in life. And I make this point about how, like, if you don't live your own life, then other people are going to try to live it for you, as far as the decisions they try to make for you, where they try to push you, what they tell you you should be doing. And all of a sudden you're being influenced by all of these other people, whether it's media outlets, social media, friends, family. And of course, it's so much easier to give other people advice than to follow it. And if you ask anyone, what should I do? Almost every time someone's going to say, you should do this. And even with my own business, people are very quick to be, oh, and you should do this and this and this. And they list a ton of things. And I'm like, yeah, that all sounds great. But I also have a ton that I know that I want to do. And it takes a lot of time and a lot of money to do most of what everyone's saying. So just knowing that, though, is that, you know, if something isn't working, making the change, it's needed. It's so worth it. And whether that's, you know, you're in a job and you know it's not working, you need to get yourself out of there. And I always say, like, it doesn't mean it's going to be easy or comfortable. You may step on some toes. You may hurt some relationships even, of people being like, well, why are you doing this? You were doing this for so long, and what changed? And you're like, well, I decided it wasn't working, and I need to prioritize, you know, the future, your own life, and take care of what you know needs to be happening, because it's so easy, if not, to get stuck in these jobs, circumstances, relationships, friendships that are just going nowhere. And at the end of the day, you're just wasting time, wasting money, wasting resources. And really, it can get to you where it can cause depression, anxiety, just you always being stressed out, on guard, like not living a good nor healthy life. So I will link the article in this description, the YouTube video, but the personal example I just remembered, I was like, oh, gotta tie everything together, was that business program I was in. I was not happy with it. And so the changes I decided to make, you know, I tried to change things when it wasn't working out, was I emailed the leadership, and then I was able to take breaks, 2 different breaks that were really helpful. And then I wanted to just quit the program because I legally terminated the business, and I was like, I can't really use you guys, and can I just get a refund for what I haven't used yet? And they unfortunately weren't able to do that, but my mentor, the main mentor and the mentor I had in the program, worked out a deal with me where he would personally mentor me and have a monthly call with just me for the next 6 months that I had in the program. And so by me reaching out, trying to change things, I actually got a really good deal, and something that was worth so much, that has just catapulted me much further than if I had quit. And I did have a friend who I messaged him like, hey man, what happened? He's like, I just stopped doing everything. And I would be like, you didn't reach out? Like, I spent so many days swimming, just being so frustrated, trying to think through, like, what can I do? I need to do something. I cannot be silent. But he took the route of just quitting, and so he ended up losing out on thousands of dollars, and he didn't get his business started, and he's not working on that right now. And that's really sad. It's nothing, you know, saying anything terrible about the decision you made, but it's just real life. Like, if you quit things all of a sudden and you don't reach out and try to get help, then that's what can happen. It's a very real life example of what can happen. And then previous to me reaching out and I wasn't doing anything, it was just eating me up alive. I was so frustrated, upset, even thinking of like the main guy that started the program, who wasn't my mentor, but you know, just all the calls I've been on, the stuff I went through, just like getting very frustrated, upset, really like bitter and angry inside. And I don't usually get like that, because if I don't like something, I don't do it, or I make changes. You know, I've gotten very used to that. And so, especially, you know, I'm not working at Starbucks, I'm working for myself. So if I got a problem, it's probably because of me, and I can change that. So this was one of those where I'm like, I probably shouldn't have joined this. And I'm not going to join programs. Not saying I never will, but they should, you know, I'm not a good student, you guys. I really am not when it comes to big programs like that. So that is something, though, that before I had decided to make changes, it was something that it was eating me alive. So what did I do? I decided to make changes so that I could get this better result. And I say kind of in the closing of the article, which I'll share, is that most times in life, it's all about just finding the right person. Hey, driving show, yeah. I just got to the gym though, so my phone is probably about to overheat because I don't have the AC on. But most times in life, all you really need to do is find the right person to reach out to. So that's most of life. Is if you're not happy, things are not working out, you really just got to find the right person to talk to and then see how things go from there. And if not, if you're the one who needs to make the changes, then I say you really need to just kick yourself into making the changes that are needed so that you can get things to where they can be working out. So I'm going to end it there. Surprised that my phone hasn't bailed on me like it usually does. But here's your encouragement. Go and get some exercise in, work out. I started doing 20 push-ups in the morning when I first get up, and then 20 push-ups at night. They're off when I don't like anything about them, but I'm going to see if I can keep doing it and if I see results. So maybe you want to do something and join me in that too. It's painful and it's not a lot of fun, but a lot of things in life are painful and not a lot of fun, but they get you going to where you need to be. So we'll talk to you guys on Monday because it's going to be the weekend, but have a great weekend.